Good morning, friends. Long time no see. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. We had a really nice time on our vacation to see family, but I'm really happy to be back. I've just walked into the gates of the farm for the first time since we got back the other night, and I want to take you along with me. Let's hope that there's not mass amounts of destruction, and we'll see what we can see. I'm also out here because I need to harvest. This is Sunday morning. I want to harvest everything that I can for consignment to bring up to the city tomorrow at about 5 a.m. This coming week is my last week of the CSA for summer session, and then there's going to be a break. And so everything I harvest is going to be for sale or consignment, pre-orders or consignment. So I want to clear the field, and what you're going to see right now looks like a lot of abundance. And then I need to clear all this if I want to continue to harvest on these flowers. So let's take a look row by row. Hopefully it won't be too slow going. And we'll see what we've still got and make mental notes of what I need to do. Firstly, obviously we need to do more string trimming again. This is all grown back up. It's only been like a week and a half, but that's all it takes. Okay, and then the feverfew, the second round, is going to bloom super short. So that's my lesson. And that's okay. I can use that in little tiny mason jar vases, but that won't be worth much for me otherwise. Now the straw flower, I thought these were done. I was going to clear them out, and I'm really glad I didn't, because look at this, all these different colors. Apparently this was a mix. I didn't know that there was still enough. Now the stems might be too short for wholesale, but I might be able to use them for vase arrangements and definitely for drying, because I use these a lot in dried flower arrangements in the fall and winter. Now here's another succession of feverfew blooming. I'll leave those and take them for the CSA because they are too short for wholesale, but that's okay. This scabby's pretty much done, which is fine. I'm just leaving it there to keep something living in the ground. Another little block of status, which is also too short for consignment, but I can use for vases. And then this is the second flush on this feverfew, and again, probably too short. We'll see, but definitely not enough for wholesale consignment, so I'll use these for the CSA. More short status. These probably will all just get all the short stuff. I'll probably just dry for dried arrangements later. Orlea, also super short, which is kind of a bummer. Now here, I did put something here, and clearly it got eaten because there's nothing left. I don't know what I put there, I can't remember, but these marigolds, they survived because most things don't like to eat marigolds. So that's good. They hopefully will continue to grow, and we'll have some really big decorative marigolds. These are not the French ones, these are big giant heads. All this stuff that I planted here is all gone, like I thought. Yeah, so a big empty bed. That's such a bummer. I think we have one sunflower here. Yep, one. And then there's a handful of them here. So pretty much everything gone. There's a couple of zinnias that survived somehow, and weeds, which I got to get out of here. And then here is the Mystery Rose Cynoglossum. This is what I'm going to be harvesting on today for wholesale. Nice long stems, and actually is something that the florists want. So I'm going to harvest as many 10-stem bunches of this as I can this morning. Okay, Agrostemma, obviously totally done. Look at the Lisianthus. Now, nice and tall stems. Now that it's later in the season, except for these guys. These guys are still pretty short, but oh my gosh. So weirdest thing, I harvested a whole bunch of these for consignment and they didn't sell. I'm going to keep doing it because otherwise they're just going to landfill, or not landfill, compost. They're so beautiful, but this is making me think maybe I don't grow a whole bunch of Lisianthus because they're expensive. And if I'm not going to be able to sell them, if they're not in demand, just like the lilies, no point in using the bed space. But it makes me sad because they're so pretty. So we'll see. I'll harvest as many super tall stems as I can, 10 stem bunches. I've got pink and I've got this gorgeous buttery yellow. hopefully somebody will want them. Now, something I know the florists want, Scabiosa. This is Black Knight. A lot of it is spent, and there's some mustard weeds in here growing, so I've got to come in and clean all that out, which probably won't happen today. But Scabiosa is something that they really like. The Sweet Annie is getting real close, so it's getting all these little buds here are going to be flowers. And once it starts doing that, then I can make 10 stem bunches of all of this, and the florists will like it. All right, Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus, doing pretty good. This guy, I was hoping I'd have a lot of stems for this, but they're just pretty much done, and that's okay. But I will, next year I have a whole, almost half bed full of these because they sell so well. Dianthus, just a few plants that I had popped in because I had space. They're doing fine. Stems are too short, maybe for the CSA. Look at the mountain mint though. Is that not beautiful or what? So if I can get enough stems, I might put that in its own bucket for consignment. And then look at that buttery yellow Lisianthus. It's just gorgeous. Tweedia is blooming. It's very pretty, but it's still super, super short. So pretty useless in terms of market bouquets. Maybe okay for mason jar arrangements. Note to self, string trimming has to happen. And then the Celosia is starting here. I don't know, these I'll use for CSA. There's not enough on this one plant to do wholesale, but look, I got to show you this crazy thing. Celosia does this. Look at this big fat stem. And then when it does send up a flower spike, it's going to be really fat and wide. It's just so bizarre. I don't know why that happens, but Celosia is famous for that. Okay, and then the final scabby that I'm going to harvest are these beauties. This is Salmon Queen. This will go. People will take this at consignment. I would have listed this for sale for pre-order, but we were out of town, so I had no idea how it was looking, if there were going to be tall enough stems, etc. So, and I really wish I had put flower support netting on these because they do like to fall over, but it is what it is. So I'm going to take as many bunches of these as possible. These will go on consignment for sure. And then these are the dahlias that was started from seed from Floret. Look how tall they are. That's so crazy. So I will deadhead as many of these as I can, well, all of them, and they'll give me more blooms. They'll just keep producing as long as I keep deadheading, but they're very pretty. These are just open flowers, which mostly I put here, not so much for harvesting for bouquets, but for pollinators, because really blousy flowers, pollinators can't get to the pollen, so they tend to kind of leave them alone. That's better for cut flowers, but these are so pretty. Okay, coming back here to the danger zone. I've been afraid to see what kind of damage will be back here. Still plenty of rodent running around. I can see their trails, but you can see we are getting some dahlias. These I don't think are going to work for, I can use them in bouquets for the customers, CSA, but I don't have enough of them to make 10 stem bunches for wholesale. But look at that one. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, I think my customers will be happy with these this week. And look, these that got completely destroyed, they are coming back. Now this guy, eaten and flat. And so all of these, like, it's still growing, but because it got knocked over, these are all phototropic, so they're going to try to go towards the sun, so they're curving and they won't be strong stems. But that's okay. And then a few more through here. We've got Cornell, which is looking lovely. This one is super aged, but it's still really cool looking when it's aged. I got to get this horrible weed out of here. There's just a lot to do. You go away for a week and things explode. Okay, so this is the area I was mostly concerned about, and it's not as bad as I had expected, so that's good. There's definitely some loss of mums, but I do see still plenty of plants, and they are starting to put on flower buds, so that's pretty good. These sunflowers, these are Sunflower Steve, Van Gogh's Fantasy. They are all bloomed out, and so I'm just going to leave them for their beauty and the pollinators because they are too big, too open to be used for wholesale, but the variety is so cool. I mean, look at that guy. And then this one up here, if I can get to it, because it's really, really tall. Look at that. So, so cool. I love this mix. So we still have a few that are coming up, but again, I think this stand is just going to stay here. And based on the fact that I can't seem to get the sunflowers to get big enough to grow because of the rodents, I think this is going to be our last batch of sunflowers. It sucks. Because I really had hoped the sunflowers would carry us through the whole season. Here's another one I want to show you. Look at that, isn't that crazy? I just love this mix, it's super fun. Oh, okay, so here, I think this is Durango Gold, maybe? Here's one stem just getting ready to bloom. That's kind of early for those. In the past, I've had them come on in like September. Wow, lilies. So these are Golden Romance, and they're all bloomed out, so I can't harvest them, but I'll just let them be here and be pretty. So when they're open like this, you know, this is the stage you want to harvest. Well, actually, this is more the stage you want to harvest them at, where the very first flower on the stem is just about to crack bud. Because what happens is as soon as they open, they start to age rapidly. They drop their pollen, the petals will start falling off. So, you know, they have a very narrow window for harvest. But these are very, very pretty. Again, not going to grow them anymore. There's just no market for them. And then these are the Stargazer back here. It's a shame that I missed the window on these while we were gone, because these might have sold. Who knows? Basically, this is just money down the drain, and it stinks. But you live and learn. I know what my market wants and what it doesn't now. In the past, I've never sold wholesale before. I've only done my CSAs, and I used to have a whole lot more members back then when I was delivering to everybody's house. But I had to give that up because it was insane. So I have fewer CSA members. I'm relying more on wholesale. And if you're going to do that, you got to do the things that the wholesale customers want. So a few more plants of mountain mint. So I think I might try to harvest a whole bunch of that. And like I said, it's a euphorbia, so it has sap. That you can't put it in a bucket with other flowers until that sap stem heals over. So maybe I'll be able to harvest enough to put a bucket together to send for wholesale. Okay, so plans this week out here. The kids are going to come out and help me. It should be a really nice week. I think we're going to have... Oh, you might be wondering why I'm dressed like this in July. So while we were gone, we had another heat wave out here, and it was 100 degrees or more pretty much every day we were gone. And then when we got back, now we're having temperatures that are well below normal. Yesterday it was cloudy. It misted all day, which was really nice. And the high was 58 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very unusual for summertime for us. And right now it is 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not freezing, but I was this morning because we've had the house open, even though it's been cold. So, you know, as the day goes on, it'll get warmer today. I think our high is 74 Fahrenheit, which is absolutely beautiful, perfect. But that's why I'm dressed like it's winter, because it's actually kind of chilly out here. Okay, I'm going to get started on this harvest. The kids are going to come out with me, and we're going to do all the string trimming and everything, get this place tidied up this week, and start making the raised beds for that area over there. I've got tons of wood here, and basically I'm just going to tell them the size and put them to work. And since we have so much cardboard underneath where those beds are going to go, before we put the bed down, I'm going to put like probably a double layer of cardboard so that no weeds can come up through it. And then, of course, they'll be lined with hardwood cloth so that rodents can't get into it. And then we'll have new beds that are fresh and can be planted with stuff. I might put some sunflowers in there, and maybe that will protect them. We'll see. I mean, it's July, it's the end of July, but I still technically have 2 months of season left, and I really don't want to waste it. And the way it's looking now, I'm only going to have mums to harvest, some dahlias, but not what I was expecting. Yeah, so I'm not going to have any more sunflower successions unless somehow magically I can eliminate the rodents on the farm, and that seems to be not happening no matter what I do. I'm going to put my book on and see what we can harvest. I'm going to bunch in the field, so I brought rubber bands with me. I'll cut 10 stems, bunch them up, stick them in the bucket, etc., and hopefully I can wrap this up pretty quickly, because the rest of the day we're going to be dealing with the garlic, which is now dried and cured. Some of it's going to stay in bulb form in the kitchen for us, and I'm also going to use the dehydrator and dehydrate a bunch so that I can make garlic powder and garlic salt. And then I might do a few in oil, so we'll see, but I want to get that done today. And the kitchen is pretty much done, so I can't wait to show you. They're just going to finish grouting the backsplash tomorrow, and then we're waiting on the 2 pendant lights that we have. Otherwise, it's done, and it's very exciting. We moved back in yesterday. It took the entire day, but we got it all set up, and I still have space. I still have a couple drawers that are completely empty, which is shocking to me. I did not expect that, but it's super exciting. As usual, my camera battery ran out. But I'll show you what I harvested. It's not a lot. I actually left a lot in the field, partly because I'm running out of time, but also this wholesaler that I work with, they specialize in small farms, small micro flower farms. And so there's a lot of us, and none of us want to overload the market at any one time with, say, 30 bunches of Lisianthus when other people are bringing in Lisianthus too. So it's kind of like share the wealth kind of thing. So this is what I harvested. Okay, so this is Scabiosa Salmon Queen, and you'll see there's some purples in here. I don't know, that's I guess just part of how they grow. I think there are 7 bunches of those. And then we've got 5 bunches of this beautiful buttery yellow Lisianthus. And then I think we have 7 or 8 bunches of the Cynoglossum, which definitely will sell. So I thought about harvesting the Mountain Mint and the Sweet Andy, but I don't have space in the car, first of all, because I don't have the truck with me today. And secondly, I need to get home. There's a lot of stuff to do there. It's starting to get hot out here. So this will be good for consignment tomorrow. Now I just have to get them in the car without the bees following me, because the bees love these flowers. They're all over them right now. So I got to shake them off, get them in the car, and then we'll head home. Next stop, Garlic Town. Okay, so we're home, and I want to show you the kitchen where it stands now before we go out and start working on the garlic. Okay, so this is the new view from the front door. Again, we used to have a wall here that came out and blocked, and the refrigerator was on the wall on the other side. So this was like a foyer here, but I really enjoy this openness now. We pretty much moved back in. We haven't put our rugs down yet because they need to be cleaned really well. They've got sawdust and stuff on them in the garage. They've been rolled up for a while. But our island is in, and I just love this, the blue veining in here. It's so pretty. Now, this is all storage under here. I've put all of our appliances that we don't use all the time, like the blender and the the Cuisinart and stand mixer, etc. All of that stuff's under there. We will be getting bar stools, but haven't done that yet. So the island is actually about the same size as the previous one, but it looks so much bigger because the previous one had this weird prow shape like a ship. It was very strange. So we've gained all this additional space, and it's wonderful. We do have power strips under here on both ends that also have USB ports so you can charge your phones. And so the countertops are done. All the appliances are in and functioning. This is the backsplash, which you can see isn't grouted yet. So that's what they're going to do tomorrow. And of course, I'll pull all of this stuff away for that work. But I just wanted to see how are things going to look, because we don't want to keep a whole lot on these countertops now that we have so much space. So basically, we'll have knives, which get used every day, eggs, vegetables, fruit bowl is over here. This is only here because I'm making stuff for dinner later. Otherwise, this is usually empty. The induction cooktop that they were able to make flush mounted, which was really awesome. Loving that. And then our sink, which is cast iron enameled sink, which I love. And it came with these little accessories, which has actually been quite fun. So this is like a colander for washing vegetables, etc. And it has this little cutting board. So you can kind of prep some stuff with this. This is a soaking, it's silicone, a soaking container, basically, if you've got silverware and stuff that you need to soak. And then a dryer here. And this, of course, this on the bottom, which kind of the idea is to keep you from putting things directly on the enamel. And then our soap dispenser here and the garbage disposal. You'll note we do not have an air gap, and we chose that intentionally, even though they're required. We'll put it in place of this when we sell at some point. This is filtered water. It's not hooked up yet, but will be soon. And like I said, the backsplash will be grouted and done tomorrow. So not going to leave a whole lot on the countertops, which is going to be wonderful. This is our bread box, which needs to stay on the counter, and then the tea station. But we've still got plenty of space. We've got drawers in here that are not yet filled, which is super exciting. Then the pantry over here, we've got still some space up above that hasn't been used, and Mike just started working on his bar. Things are on the top here because we're trying to decide where we're going to put some of this stuff and where it's going to go. The previous bar was actually a built-in piece of furniture, or not built-in, it was a piece of furniture. And then we had shelves on the back wall that held all of the alcohol and some of the glassware. And then the piece of furniture itself had a lot of glassware and wine and all that. So this is actually a smaller space than the previous bar. So we're trying to decide how we're going to set that up. But we also have a ton of glassware that we don't need to keep. So some of that's going away. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, cooktop is an induction cooktop, and only works with pots that can be that are magnetized. So basically, if you have a magnet that can stick to your cookware, then it'll work on an induction cooktop. So we have cast iron that we use all the time, and we have a couple of all-clad pieces that also work, but we also had some Calphalon pieces that had a whole set of Calphalon, two different size frying pans and two different big pots and a big saute pan. Those have a little too much aluminum in them and they don't work on those cooktops. So we're gonna get some new pots and pans, but we're just gonna hang on to those. We boxed them up because our kids are in the next year or two, maybe 3, gonna have their own apartments and they'll need stuff. And so it's nice to be able to put things aside for them so they don't have to spend money on that kind of stuff. All right, let's go look at the garlic situation. So while we were gone, the tomatoes in these containers really started pumping out tomatoes. And so yesterday we had a nice salad with loads of these little guys. This one's newly ready to harvest today, but there's still gonna be plenty on here. So there's 3 varieties in these containers. One of them is the Pole Sweetie, which is this guy and this guy that's flopped over. So I need to find a way to stake that back up. And then I have a variety called Cream Sausage. This is it right here. And most of these have had blossom end rot, which is really interesting because the rest of them, the other variety here, Ace 55, which you can see some fruits on, has been fine. So what that tells me is that, and the exact same thing has happened over here, what that tells me is that the cream sausage variety wants less water than everything else. And so when I grow it next time, it'll go in its own container so that I can monitor the water that way and we can make sure it gets what it needs and not more than what it needs. Okay, in the greenhouse, we do have some things growing. I'm not even gonna bother with these. This is amaranth. I mean, I might try plant this hot chili out there at the farm, but I doubt it's gonna do anything. And this is all basil that got burned. It's still alive, but it got too much sun or something. I don't know, I can't tell. But this is artichoke for the front garden. Some dill, rainbow chard, celebration chard, and oh, these are more tomatoes. So this is Patio Choice. This is a little yellow one. And this is Ace 55, and these are determinate tomatoes. They're the bush variety. They'll get a certain size. They produce all their fruit at once. And those will go as replacements when some of these start to cycle out. But what we're really here to do today is to tackle the garlic. Now, it's been up here drying, and it is all dry. It's ready to go. So all I'm gonna do, I think this is the soft neck over here. Yeah. So I have only a little bit of soft neck. I mostly grew hard neck this year. Yeah, and that's the hard neck for sure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is clean these off and you know, get the dirt clods off and all that kind of stuff, cut off the roots, cut the stems back, and then we'll see how many cloves we have and how many heads we have. And then I'd like to get out my dehydrator and dehydrate a bunch so I can make garlic powder and garlic salt. We did not eat all of the garlic that we grew last year. Some of it just didn't go bad. They just dry out so much that the husks, that the paper becomes basically empty. You can squeeze it and there's nothing in there. So it's not like it goes bad. It just dehydrates so much that it's no longer a usable clove. So in order to avoid that, I'd like to turn some of it into other things so that we have fresh garlic, but we also have preserved garlic. So I'm going to set you guys up while I clean these off, and then we'll see where we stand, what we're going to decide, how to separate this out, what's going to get dried and what's not. Okay, so here's the hardneck. I actually like this amount. We'll be able to eat all this and nothing's really going to go to waste. Now there's a few that I cut way too short. So like when I cut off the root, it kind of cut into that. So these are going to be the ones that got the roots cut too short. These are going to be the ones I use to dry because they won't last as long. They'll just rot. So there'll be a few in there like that, but for the most part I tried to keep, you know, a little stub of root. Now, the paper on these is a lot drier than I expected it to be at this point. I've never dried things in this greenhouse, and it might have been a little too much, but the cloves feel rock hard, so I think we're okay. And then this is the soft neck. I will do a pseudo braid. I kind of stink at those, but I'll get it tied up so that we can hang this in the kitchen and use these. The irony is soft neck lasts longer than hard neck garlic. And soft neck grow better in my area because I'm in a higher zone. However, I love garlic scapes and you only get that from hard neck garlic, so I tend to grow more hard neck than soft neck. But I think we're good. I'm going to take these into the kitchen and get the dehydrator set up and then pick the cloves that I need to dry. We're going to cut those cloves in little slivers, put them on the dehydrator thing, and I think it takes 6 to 12 hours depending on how thick your slices are. And then we need to grind it into a powder. So not all of that is going to happen in this video. So probably shoot a separate one of the garlic process of drying and dehydrating. That's what we'll do. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It's not nearly as much as I grew last year, but like I said, last year I ended up giving a ton away and we kept a lot and we still didn't go through it all. So it ended up, some of it got wasted. So I think this is a good amount and we will enjoy it. All right, that's going to do it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.